Hello, everyone. Welcome to Learning Forward, my weekly show where I travel across the world to meet educators who follow their heart and relentlessly pursue passionately the cause of education. Today, I go across all the way to USA to meet an ambassador, a country lead and academy member, Jenny in Virginia. She is at the Springhouse Community School, where they are reimagining the purpose and practice of education. And for them, the earth's wisdom is all that matters. Research, mentoring, teaching, deep knowledge of relationships, and all there to serve the world with greater clarity, courage, and compassion. Jenny has devoted her life to non-profit leadership. She is very compassionate and loving, a person whom I am sure His Holiness Dalai Lama will portray as a noble soul. Jenny holds a PhD in sustainable education and is also a co-founder of Springhouse Community School. She sees education as the primary agent of transformation. Welcome to my show, Jenny, and do share with us something about your passion, the Springhouse, how your program for 7th to 12th graders makes all the difference to their lives, and even more, how adults are involved in helping you pursue your passion for education.
Thank you so much, Sandeep. What a beautiful introduction. I'm so grateful to have these few moments with you here, and I'm happy to respond to your question. And thank you for your work. This is such a life-giving thing to do for all of us. So I'm passionate about education because I see it as a pathway to sustainable, regenerative culture. A story that I'll tell really briefly, about 10 years ago, I was bringing some social, emotional, even spiritual connection work to a conventional school setting in an elementary school. And as I was bringing that work there, I went once a week and did different activities using movement and art and all kinds of things. One time when I was there, I brought a very simple movement activity to some third grade children. And as we were moving, we moved through different emotions, did different movements. And when we got to the movement activity where we were exploring sadness in some really simple ways, many of these children started crying. And I remember, maybe half the class started crying. And I was young to my work. And so I was certainly nervous and wondering how this educational system was going to hold this experience. And, to make a long story short, it was very difficult. And the system supported my work in supporting young people to be in touch with their emotions. But the bottom line was, what I heard from this system was that it couldn't hold it. It couldn't do that work. It had other things to do, and they were leaving that work to someone else. I'm not sure who. So when I left that experience, I had a really deep understanding that our educational design needs to change. It fundamentally needs to change. So it's not so much about changing schooling for me, it's about healing culture. And this is not just for our young people, but for the community of adults that they live with. So I'm really called to the work of redesigning education, reorienting education around life. And this is messy, rigorous work that I've been engaging in on the ground at Springhouse Community School for almost 7 years now. And I've been doing this work of designing structures to foster vitality for nearly 30 years in different kinds of environments. So it's the implementation of ideas where many of us get stopped in our tracks with educational design, because it's hard to know what to do. How do you create something from the ground up that's oriented around life? Something completely different than we're used to. How do we bring forth vitality in an educational system that doesn't necessarily have this as the primary purpose of education? I've just found that bringing ideals and ideas and hopes and dreams to the ground is courageous, skillful work. It takes an enormous amount of life source, both within each person and the community that we're working with. So I'm really fortunate to work with a community of designers whose commitment runs really deep. We spend at least 3 hours a week fostering that breath of life within ourselves and within our community of adults. We know that as adults, we can't teach younger people how to live from a place of vitality if we're not doing that ourselves. So it's the life source within and around us that keeps us going, because much of the time it can feel like we're trying to hold a candle in a dark windstorm. And so we have to do a lot of work to foster that and carry that on. So at Springhouse, it's really an experiment and a practice in educational design that's oriented around vitality. And now this year, we're sharing that work with others through something that we're calling sourced design. And through that, we're sharing with people around the world the guiding design principles that we have articulated. And we're creating community where people can support each other as they reorient educational design.
Please stay with us. We will be back after a quick commercial break. Great. I like this idea of reorienting education design. But you know what we have talked so far and what you have shared, it seems hypothetical. Quickly, in a minute, can you give me a prescription in just 1 minute?
Yes.
A prescription, how you bring about this transformation?
Yes. So in 1 minute, I'll just tell you the 5 design principles that we practice and that we share. So the 5 design principles are, the first one is to take care of vulnerability. So when we're looking at educational design, we're asking these questions basically. Are we doing these 5 things? Are we taking care of vulnerability, number 1? Number 2 is our curriculum, our cultural practices, our methodologies. Are they cultivating personhood, whole personhood? Third, are we building beloved community? Does this, what we're doing, build beloved, life-giving community? Fourth, are our design structures and the way that we're doing things respect the earth and the wisdom and the way the earth works? And the 5th one is, what all of this is for, is to love and serve others. We feel that the world, I don't think it's not a surprise to us that I think the world needs more love. And so what we're doing, and life, what we're doing at Springhouse and with this design is cultivating life so that we can share it. So those are the 5 design principles that we practice on the ground at Springhouse and that people come and practice in what we call the Education Design Lab.
Thank you, Jenny, for sharing your passion with love and compassion. I think that really is the bottom line where we started this conversation. Without love and compassion, there can be no fundamental change. I'm grateful to you for having spent these minutes with me, and do let us know how we can help you take your story forward. Have a great life ahead. Continue with the work and spring more surprises at Springhouse.
Thank you so much, Sandeep. Thank you for your work in the world, and so many blessings to you.